Every preseason, there are, it seems, in the space of the collective consciousness of Kansas City Chiefs fans and probably NFL franchises countrywide, space enough for intrigue around two rookies normally. One of them is a draft pick, and one of them is a UDFA. It seems that this season, the UDFA that is stoking the fires of intrigue for the fan base is Carson Steele, the running back. But as far as the draft picks are concerned, it seems to be Jared Wiley. Now, the interesting thing about this, at least in Kansas City, at least so far as I have been running this channel, the fan favorite draft pick has almost never, in fact, in my experience, has never been the first round pick. Jared Wiley going later in the draft in the middle rounds, but we have here today perhaps an article looking to cash in on that general fan interest, but also it is an article that is surprisingly sensational but realistic. And we'll get to that at the end of this video. Now, the article in question from A to Z Sports is titled Kansas City Chiefs Rookie Will Have a Chance to Break Franchise Records That Have Stood for Decades by Charles Goldman. And we know what position Jared Wiley plays. We know that the Kansas City Chiefs have fielded over the past few decades two of the greatest ever tight ends. So this becomes extremely intriguing at the onset, but we have to remember a couple things. Number one, Travis Kelce was injured his rookie season, and Tony Gonzalez played for a Marty Schottenheimer team his rookie season. And if we go back to the NFL in which Tony Gonzalez found himself drafted, the tight end was an afterthought as far as offenses were concerned. So the prospects of this article become a little bit more intriguing immediately because you realize, though the Chiefs have fielded and have drafted and fielded two of the greatest tight ends ever, maybe these rookie numbers wouldn't be all that out of bounds in order to assume Jared Wiley has an actual shot to obtain. And that's true. The article itself reads, tight end, quote, Kansas City Chiefs tight end Jared Wiley could rewrite franchise history books as a rookie, in 2024. The fourth round draft pick out of TCU is off to a hot start this offseason, standing out to his coaches and his teammates during OTAs and mandatory minicamp practices. While there's still a long way to go for the rookie before he straps up the pads and hits the gridiron, it's worth noting that some franchise records will be within reach when he suits up this fall. You wouldn't quite expect that to be the case when guys like Travis Kelce and Tony Gonzalez were drafted by the team, but shockingly, neither player owns a rookie receiving record for the Kansas City Chiefs. Who set the Chiefs' rookie record for tight ends? Receptions, Tony Moeaki, or, as I was fond of calling him, and this is from 2010, Brokey Mioki, because the guy couldn't stay on the field. How it is that he racked up 47 receptions as a rookie is beyond me. He had one really great catch. That seems to have been my only memory of Tony Moeaki. Now, the article in question goes on to inform us, quote, a record that was once held by Pro Football Hall of Famer Tony Gonzalez was claimed by another Tony back in 2010. He caught 47 passes on 73 targets, mostly thrown by former Chiefs quarterback Matt Cassel. Mostly. Very, very important word for that 2010 season. He had the second most receptions on the team that season, next to wide receiver Dwayne Bowe. So, here's another thing that I want to point out, and this is why I was a little bit distracted reading that first paragraph there. It's also interesting because Noah Gray, was drafted just a couple years ago in the 2021 draft. But here are the stats from Noah Gray's rookie season: 7 receptions, 36 yards, and a touchdown. Not impressive. After that, he went on in 2022 to have 28 receptions, 299 yards, and a touchdown. In 2023, just last season, 28 receptions, the exact same number, 305 yards, 6 yards more, and 2 touchdowns, an additional touchdown over his 1 touchdown previous personal record. So these numbers are not all that impressive so far. Is it possible to have 48 receptions in a season? Yeah, absolutely, even for a rookie. What about yards? Quote, Walter White, 1975. This record has shockingly stood the test of time, and you'd never guess it, given all the great tight ends the Chiefs have drafted through franchise history. White was absolutely cooking in 1975, recording 559 receiving yards as a rookie. He had the second most receiving yards on the team that season, next to Barry Pearson. He primarily had Mike Livingston and Lynn Dawson throwing him the ball that season. So, 559 yards. Again, not a huge number. That's a pretty decent number, though. I mean, that's not, for a rookie at tight end, 559 yards is absolutely respectable. So, more often than not, if you are getting over 560 yards at the tight end position, you're a starter, right? So the Chiefs, especially with the passing attack set up by Andy Reid, are going to be giving Jared Wiley more opportunities as a backup tight end, which I think he's going to claim the number 2 spot, than most rookies would get, even as a starter. So, and we'll get into that a little bit later as well. But then the article, and this is the last bit that I have taken from the article. I think it's absolutely worth reading, and you should go check it out if it's something that you're interested in. But touchdowns goes all the way back to Fred Arbanis in 1962. Quote, this one technically occurred with the Dallas Texans, where a rookie Arbanis scored 6 touchdowns. If you don't want to count that performance from the Chiefs Hall of Famer, given that technically the aforementioned White and Moeaki would actually be tied for the most touchdowns by a rookie tight end with 3. We're going to give it to Arbanis because that's who has the official team record. So, looking at the actual stat line that it would take to claim these records, we're going to tie them on the official stat line here. 47 receptions, 559 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Now, what does that look like per game? That's 3 receptions would break the record, 33 yards would break the record, and 0.36 touchdowns. Basically, a touchdown every third game. Now, Jared Wiley, has about 1 game more. I don't know how many games. I believe the 1962 season would have been a 14-game season. I believe the NFL was on 14 games back then. I haven't stopped to look, so pardon me. But he has at least a 1-game advantage over all of these other players. 3 receptions per game, 33 yards per game, and a touchdown every third game. Is this a realistic stat line, a realistic expectation for Jared Wiley? Given the fact that Travis Kelce is a 1,000-yard guy, is begging for more targets this season, is saying that you can count on him. Last season, he had 93 receptions, 984 yards, and 5 touchdowns. This was a step down from the previous season in all regards, as he had 110 receptions in 2022 to go with 1,338 yards and 12 touchdowns. This was a step down in 2 of the 3 categories from 2021, where he had 92 receptions, 1 fewer than in 2023, 1,125 yards and 9 touchdowns. It was a step down in all 3 departments from 2020, 105 receptions, 1,416 yards, 9 touchdowns. It was a step down in all 3 categories from 2020, 97 receptions, 1,229 yards, and 5 touchdowns, where it is tied. And we can go back with Travis Kelce all the way to the 2016 season, where all of those stats would be borderline or fewer than the previous season. So, while and whereas Travis Kelce seems to be begging for more of a workload, and I don't think that this is in a Keyshawn Johnson, give me the ball type of fashion. I think that what he's saying is, look, you're not pushing me out of the league yet. I've still got a lot that I can put on these shoulders of mine. I think that's what Travis Kelce is really saying, and I believe him. So, what are the chances that in light of this, we still see Jared Wiley break the 47 reception, 559 yard, and 6 touchdown records for the Chiefs as a rookie? I think that depends. And one of the things that it is going to depend is the suspension of Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice almost definitely will be suspended. I think we can all agree on that. For how long, I don't know. I don't really want to get into the specifics or why, etc. That's too much of a venture from what it is that I normally do on this channel. But we can probably agree that he's going to be suspended. 6 to 8 games, I think, is probably most likely. In that time, what are the Chiefs going to do as far as innovative offensive moves? If the Chiefs come out in myriad 2 and 3 tight end sets every game, if Jared Wiley is a guy who is racking up snaps on a game-by-game basis, I think that these numbers are all absolutely realistic. The most realistic, in my opinion, is actually the 47 reception mark. I think that this offense is going to be off the chain as far as throwing the ball is concerned. And it strikes me that Jared Wiley might be in supreme position to be one of the hot route options. Why? Well, Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, and Xavier Worthy are going to be down the field guys. I don't think the Chiefs are really going to take many opportunities, many chances, many risks with those guys close to the line of scrimmage where they are more likely to take more hits from larger players in the NFL, because I don't think they're going to have to, and it's smart football not to take those risks when you don't have to. Rashee Rice, when he returns, is going to be the number 1 or number 2 wide receiver. That's going to be a 10 to 15 yard, 8 to 15, I would say, yard down the field kind of guy, despite the fact that a lot of his damage was done close to the line of scrimmage last year. I think they are going to look to evolve his game this season. Now, after that point, what are we doing? Well, we'll have Travis Kelce on the field. Travis Kelce has never really been the hot route guy. Travis Kelce has been the oops guy, has been the break off the route guy. Hot routes are designed. Travis Kelce is Picasso on the field. He's not Leonardo. He's not Leonardo da Vinci, where he's going to know precisely where things are going. I think Jared Wiley is going to be in prime position to be the hot route guy, to be the 5-yard and out guy, to be the just stay in the flats kind of guy. If that is the case, and I think it's going to be, he's a very, very large target to have on a hot route. That being the case, it's going to be an easy completion. Jared Wiley is going to be in line to have numerous easy completions per game. Why? Well, he's going to be covered by a linebacker that's not going to be as large or as fast as him. He's going to be covered by a safety coming down from 12 yards off the ball. which gives him on a hot route and a definitive advantage. He'll have the reach advantage once the safety gets there. Occasionally, it is possible that he gets, I don't think this is going to be very often, that he gets locked down by a cornerback, by the nickelback of an opposing team. In that case, he is going to have a definitive size advantage. And though Patrick Mahomes has never been the high point guy, he's never been the guy to just toss it up and let somebody go up and get it. He's had guys that run under it. I think that part of his game is going to develop this season. And why wouldn't it? If you have Jared Wiley on the field lined up against a 5'9" cornerback that's somebody's nickel, you're going to have a couple easy receptions per game. I think Jared Wiley is going to be in position for that to be true. I think it is also possible that though Travis Kelce is posturing as though he is going to get more snaps than he's ever gotten and more receptions than he's ever had to make, I think Andy Reid is smarter than that. I think that Andy Reid is absolutely going to gauge whether or not Travis Kelce needs to be on the field and when. That being the case, if Jared Wiley is the backup tight end, I think he's going to be the next guy up. So he's going to be the number one tight end, in my opinion, for a good portion of the season, because I think that the Chiefs and the way that they are constructed will give them the advantage in numerous games this season to where the starters might not need to finish the game. Now, oftentimes what you will see in the NFL is that a team will refuse to take out their starting quarterback. They'll just run heavier protections and tell, look, if you got to get rid of the ball, get rid of the ball, but we need you to stay on the field because if we put in a backup, all sorts of things can go wild. The Chiefs are in a little bit less of that type of position because their backup is Carson Wentz, who has quite a bit of starting experience in the NFL, but they will rotate teams in the NFL when they are up, will rotate other players at other positions at a higher rate than normally they do. And I think Travis Kelce has not had that opportunity in the past because the Chiefs have not had a legitimate threat at the tight end position prior to Jared Wiley, in my opinion, becoming a legitimate threat at the tight end position. So I think that if Jared Wiley is going to break any of these records, it will first and foremost be the 47 reception mark. Now, what does that look like? 47 receptions is about half of what Travis Kelce had last year. 47 receptions would be 33% more than Noah Gray has had the past two seasons, having 28 receptions each of those. Well, actually, closer to twice what Noah Gray has done. Right in there. It's a weird number combination, but from 28 to 47, you're adding on 20 different receptions during the course of a season, more than one per game. So do you think Jared Wiley on the field is worth more than one reception per game in addition to the productivity of Noah Gray? I think so. Now, I have never been a great big Noah Gray advocate. I have never really thought that he was all that impressive, but he does the job, right? So, and it's possible also that I am wrong in those assertions. How likely is it that Jared Wiley picks up more than 559 yards, 33 yards per game? If we look at this, if he's getting 3 receptions per game, that becomes an 11-yard per reception average. That, in my opinion, is a little bit tougher than the receptions. That, in my opinion, becomes, you've got to think about it. When we talk about receiving yards in mass, if I can pull this up real quick, 2023 Chiefs, there were last season just one player. Oh, no, that's not right. That's rushing. Pardon me. I should have had this ready. I apologize. There were just 2 players on the Kansas City Chiefs with more than 559 receiving yards. Travis Kelce with 984, Rashee Rice with 938. After that, the next player, you fall all the way down to Justin Watson at 460 yards. Now, he did that on just 27 receptions. He had a 17-yard per reception average. Can Jared Wiley do better than that? It is going to be an interesting case because last season was something of a down season for Patrick Mahomes. When we start looking at Patrick Mahomes last season on a passing, as far as a passer is concerned, 4,183 yards. That was the second lowest total of his entire career. Injecting the type of talent that the Chiefs have injected on this offense this season, how will the ball be spread around? If we go back just to the 2022 season, Patrick Mahomes had 5,250 passing yards, more than 1,000 yards more than in the 2023 season. The injection of talent that this offense has had, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, Jared Wiley, I think means that the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes could be poised for another big season on offense, and that is what is going to be necessary for Jared Wiley to have this 559 receiving yard record for a rookie tight end. Touchdowns. Last season, only one player, had more than 6 receiving touchdowns. Rashee Rice with 7. I'm going to repeat this because I think that this is extremely interesting. Last season for the Kansas City Chiefs, one player had more than 6 receiving touchdowns. That was Rashee Rice with 7. After that, Travis Kelce at 5, Jerick McKinnon at 4, Justin Watson at 3, Isaiah Pacheco and Noah Gray at 2, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, MVS, and Blake Bell all with 1. It is mind-blowing to me that MVS had the same amount of receiving touchdowns as Blake Bell. Absolutely embarrassing. But there were only 28 receiving touchdowns to be had for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that number is going to go up drastically for the 2024 season. Is it possible that Jared Wiley breaks the 6-touchdown tight end rookie receiving record for the Kansas City Chiefs? Yes, that is possible. It is, in my opinion, the least likely of these 3 records to be broken by Jared Wiley. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Kansas City Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week, and I hope to have you back for the next one, so hit that subscribe button.